So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. In this one, I'm going to talk about the 4 energy and time vampires that actually make you lose so much time every single week. So I hope by the end of this video that you're able to reclaim at least a few hours every single week so that you can then reallocate that time into more productive tasks and more productive activities that will generate revenue. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first energy vampire is perfectionism in aesthetics. So when it comes to your website, your content, your emails, your designs, your graphic designs, right? Anything that is visual, right? Or written. So anything that represents your brand and that your customers see, you definitely don't want to be a perfectionist when it comes to that, especially if you're not making multiple 7 figures with your business. The reason being is that in the early stages, you don't have a brand. You have a startup. Right? You have a business that is required to generate money in order for it to survive. So don't think about brand, don't think about branding, about your tonality, your brand voice, etc., too much, because it is going to deter you, or it's going to be a break, because it's going to force you to focus too much on that and not on what drives performance, what drives revenue, right? So I really want you to stop focusing on being a perfectionist and start being a strong advocate of high tempo testing. You need to be testing so much in the early stages, because once you strike gold, it is literally a cash cow for you to start milking it for the next few months, even a few years, right? Once you have what I call the perfect intersection between your product, your audience or your customers, and an offer that really is the bridge between both, then you are in the position to scale, you are in the position to make a lot of money. And you only get to that stage once you start testing a lot and once you start actually flooding the market with your hypothesis, testing them, validating them, or basically destroying them and getting the market feedback as soon as possible. Because if you start by being a perfectionist in aesthetics, nothing that you launch will be to your standards, right? As a founder, you'll always be thinking that it's missing something, that it's not up to standards, etc. I prefer having imperfect execution rather than perfect paralysis, right? Would you rather stay in the sidelines and overanalyze what you want your customers to see, or would you want to uncover the insights from your customers based on the content that you give them? So in terms of copywriting, in terms of creatives, in terms of website design, in terms of colors, etc., obviously you want to have some understanding of where you want to go with your business in terms of the vision, what you want your customers to view you as, the philosophy, etc. However, you don't want to overcomplicate it and overanalyze it. So please, when it comes to creatives, when it comes to your ads, when it comes to your copywriting, just flood the market with your hypothesis and validate it as you go instead of staying on the sidelines and overanalyzing it. The second energy vampire is what I call nonsensical product research. Now, when it comes to product research or product market fit research, you definitely want to have the intersection of your own insights, so your hypothesis, why you started the business, why you think this product is actually needed from the marketplace, and why you think your customers actually have a pain point that your product solves, right? But you also want to flood your brain with what I call customer insights, right? So these are surveys, these are trends that you're seeing from your customers. These are insights that you build from analyzing what forces are acting on the customer, basically building your insight database from what's going on with the customer, right? Not your own experience, your customer's experience. And that is super key. I see a lot of founders, they get so lost in product research and product market fit because they only flood their brain with one data stream, which is their own hypothesis. So they get inside their head too much and they don't end up anywhere, right? And that puts them in a position where they create, number one, a product that no one wants. Number two, a marketing campaign based on insights that no one actually believes in, right? And a hypothesis that is more often than not flawed, right? So to maximize your chances of getting the intersection between a product that people want and an audience that wants your product, you need to be able to flood your brain with both data streams, your hypothesis, but also your customer insights. And that is super key to make sure you have a product research that is sound and foundationally strong. Okay. Now, if you're a client at Project Growth, you already know that we help you do that. We have a tool that's called the Product Market Fit Worksheet that we make you fill out. It's a very in-depth, it's a monster sheet, to be honest, with a lot of questions, a lot of data points to uncover. And it helps you really center yourself and center your brand around what your customers really want, right? And so the brand doesn't become an expression of what you think the market wants. It's actually an expression of what the market actually wants, right? And that is a fundamental difference between a business that is able to scale to 8 figures and a business that is stuck making, 10, 20 grand per month and not being able to, get to the next level. Okay, so one of the main insights is to really flood your brain with both data streams and have a tool similar to what we're using at OverComplicating Labs to help our clients basically uncover product market fit with ease. The third energy vampire is really overcomplicating the amount of technology that you use within your business, right? You don't need 26 different softwares. You don't need 26 different apps. You don't need this, you don't need that. You really need to simplify your tech stack and make sure that you only cover and automate the fundamentals, right? So for example, would you be able to function without Shopify? No, of course not. Would you be able to send an email or an automated email or have an automated flow without a tool like Klaviyo, for example? Of course not. Would you be able to run ads without Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and all of these platforms? No, you wouldn't. So you really want to cover your bases and automate the tasks and really subscribe to softwares only where it is necessary, right? You don't need a scheduling app if you're able to afford a few hours a week to schedule your content manually, right? You don't need the most expensive tracking software at your current stage if you cannot afford it, right? So don't overextend yourself, don't overcomplicate it, because your business is going to be a mess if you have 26 different softwares. You can't differentiate which software is actually useful from the software that you don't actually need. And so it really creates a mess within your business. It creates so much clog and so much inefficiencies that you really want to strip out all the complexity from your business. You really want to focus on the softwares that you can't function without and go from there. Right? So basically you need Shopify, a software to enable you to send emails, a software to enable tracking, a software that will enable you to schedule your content if you're in need of that, and potentially a software like Zapier or any other tool that can kind of act as a glue between all of your apps that you're using. Okay, so you definitely want to strip all the complexity from your business and make sure that you only have softwares that you need and that you use every single day. Anything else can be semi-automated, or you can do it manually if you have the time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the last point, which is actually not a time waster, but something that all e-commerce founders neglect to some extent, right? And some do more than others, but every single e-commerce founder that I've spoken with has had this trait, which is neglecting data analytics and neglecting data optimization. So when it comes to scaling an online business, you need to understand what are the streams of data that are coming back to you, right? You need feedback from the marketplace to determine whether you're actually successful or not. One of the feedback loops is actually how much money you're making. Money is only a reflection of the value you are creating in the marketplace, right? And that's the most, I'd say, powerful data stream that you have, right? So that really reflects how the market is judging your product or your business, right? So if you're making millions every single month or every single year, you are sure that the market is actually resonating at a minimum with your product. You're doing a good job, right? However, you don't want to stop there, right? As an e-commerce founder, you need to flood your brain with all types of data streams. It's not even funny, right? If you don't do that, then you're shooting yourself in the foot, because you can't scale your business in uncharted territory. You need to know, you need the entire map to know exactly where your inefficiencies are, right? So for example, if your LTV is lacking, you need to know that your LTV is lacking, right? Before starting to improve it. But if you're not tracking your LTV, you won't know that, for example, after 6 months, people don't actually care about your brand anymore, or that after the first purchase, people don't ever come back, right? So how can you optimize your business if you don't have that piece of information? Similarly, if you don't know that your website conversion rate is bad, is not converting as it should, then you won't be able to improve your website. If you don't know how to analyze your ads, and if you don't gather data in a clean manner, in a super efficient manner, then you won't be able to know that your ads are not performing, right? Besides ROAS. But ROAS is only a symptom, right? It's not the cause, right? And so what we like to do for our clients at Project Growth is really flood their brain with all kinds of data streams, including all the ad data, the email data, the business manager data, their Shopify data, making sure that they understand their LTV if they're a subscription business. How are the marketing efforts affecting their subscriptions? How are the subscriptions affecting their overall growth, etc., etc. So we really need to flood your brain with data, and you can only do so by freeing time. And that's why I started this video by uncovering the 3 major energy vampires and time vampires that don't give you time and peace to analyze your data in a calm manner and really have time to do that, right? And so the 4th pillar, right, if you will, is to stop neglecting data analytics and data optimization and to start confronting your problems and knowing how to solve them. And you only do that with the proper tools, right? And so at Project Growth, what we do is we really understand that it's one of the main pain points that e-commerce founders have, especially at the early traction stage. And so what we do is we give all the tools that are necessary for you to have that at a glance, all the data that you need, and being able to flood your brain with data that makes sense, that is easily digestible, and that you can make sense of at a glance. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you are an e-commerce owner that is making less than $100,000 per month and you're looking to scale past $100,000 per month, $200,000 per month and beyond, you are at the right place, at the right spot. I'll extend this invitation for you to book in a call with my team and I. We'll make sure to walk you through our entire process, make sure that you understand every single step of your journey in the future on how to scale past 200K per month and really make an impact with your business, right? It really is simple, but it's not easy. So you need expert guidance. You need people who have been there, who have generated this type of revenue for other people, for other brands before you that continue to do it right now and that will do it in the future. At the end of the day, you need experts to guide you and to make sure that you won't go through the mistakes that thousands of people are basically going through every single day, and making sure that your foundations are solid, making sure that you're scaling properly, and that it is possible to smash your goals in months and not years, especially with the right roadmap. So I'll leave you at that, and I'll see you on the next one.